So, something that also links to notes. In my relationship, in my past relationship, I took a lot of notes. It made a massive impact in my life to reference and think about what I've written down on my MacBook, for example. Because when you get in a relationship or you're in love, or both, you often become blind. More so if you're in love. So you kind of lose your train of thought. You're going from one thing to another and one thing to another. It's like a chain. And the reason why that's really bad for you, because you lose your sense of self and your perspective. You could be in an abusive relationship or you might not be, but regardless, you still should know what's happening around you and how she or he is acting. And when you read it, you kind of feel differently, which is really good. And instead of hearing something from someone else, so somebody outside, maybe your family or your friend, makes a comment about it, instead of just hearing their comments, you can see your own thoughts and comments in that time. It could be a week ago, or a month ago, or a year ago. And that's really helpful because you're getting it from yourself. And often in any relationship, the one that knows the most is yourself. The one that has experienced the most inside of that relationship is yourself. What's happening in her family, where did you go, what did you eat, you're gonna know. They're not gonna know. So it's really, really silly to try to explain everything of your relationship or a large part of it to somebody else and then expecting their good advice from it. Better to take your own advice. Just don't rush it. And this is how you can not rush it, by taking notes and just going over it again and again. I read some of my old stuff, like for example, I wrote this in 2021, so 4 years ago, literally. And this is what I wrote: definitely to do in relations. Never include other people when there is something going on with us. So if there's something happening in your relationship, try not to include third parties if it's not necessary, because then it will muddle up more of your kind of understanding and communication with each other. Because maybe the other third person could be bad intentions, or maybe they could just be stupid, and it will affect both of you a lot. Always only telling opinions and making decisions together, no excuses. So this is saying to be open and make decisions together without making an excuse. And if they do make an excuse, if you make an excuse or they make an excuse consistently, then you know that they don't care about you because they don't want to fix it. They're not that's like the most important thing. If you don't communicate, pretty much the relationship is dying, pretty much. No hiding emotions. I kind of don't agree with this anymore. You can hide emotions, that's perfectly fine. So I can see that in the past. Maybe it would create confusion if you were to hide emotions, but maybe that's why I wrote it down. But now I kind of disagree with this. So the fourth is, after talking about past, never talk about it again. Lessons should be seen. What is done is done. We should move on and learn from it. Yeah, I agree with that. We should learn about stuff that is finished, instead of... But that's after you fully talked about it. When you fully talked about it, then perfectly fine to move on. Best to move on. So you let the present and the future to happen, naturally, instead of you being stuck on the past. Fifth is never disappearing just because we feel it ourselves. We feel like shit, we feel it together most of the time, if we feel like shit. So what I wrote there is we shouldn't disappear for ourselves. When you feel something, you should probably share it with your partner, and if you trust them, obviously. If you don't trust them, then don't share it with them. Or if you feel like they won't have a good reaction, they'll be weird about it, then I guess don't. But it's good to share your feelings, because that's one of the whole points of having a partner. Sixth is no always blaming. I or you tell what is wrong, and we try not to do that and be better. That's it. I agree with that. Seventh, not pretending to know what is going to happen just because it happened in the past. No, let all of situation happen, then can judge. Yeah. This is about going with the flow, and just letting whatever's going to happen. Not trying to say, oh, don't go outside, don't go speak to these people are very bad for you, blah 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 blah. And instead give like one warning or two warning, and then leave it to fate. And after whatever consequences happen, you either do whatever you want to do, you choose what you want to do because of that, instead of being so emotional and reactive. Because I was like, why are you not telling me this? Why am I the last one to know? Why are you doing things without telling me? Why are you not sharing these with me? Why are you dishonest? Why were you dishonest about this? How are you changing? Because I can't see that you're changing. That's it. Instead of just asking this because it's silly, if they're not changing, you say it once and maybe you say it twice, and that's it. It is what it is. Respect is the eighth. There is no two people together with no rules. One rule can't be just leave alone so many times. Yeah. Respecting is also, as I said here, is about spending time with each other is a sign of respect. If you show respect, then you spend time with the other person. That means you respect them. And if you're avoiding that too much, it probably means you should either have a break in your relationship or just finish it. What else? But I'm not experienced enough to make a strong comment about this, so I'm not gonna make one. Support. This is love, I've said. And I've sworn there as well. I'm not going to say that. Support, this is love. I agree. You got to support. Even if you don't believe in your partner, support them. That is love. Don't let one of us suffer just because we feel something. If we do, then we try to show it to them. Nobody has to always understand each other. Don't expect respect. Care about opinions. We listen, no bullshit. Yeah. 100%. We want to heal bullshit. We don't even need to say anything. Just love. Yeah. Just show love. Sometimes you want to heal something that you're irritated about. Just hug and kiss and make up, If we do, then we try to show it to them. No, I won't pass that. 12, communication, or else one of us will be getting hurt without the other person realizing. Yep. Pain that could be easily solved is worked on together, basic shit. 100%. You just have to be willing, Things get better most of the time. at least things happen instead of being passive. When you're passive or you do things alone, that's when the relationship will go down into the shitter. 13, space and relaxing away is allowed, but not for days without any communication. This is toxic, 100%. 14th, we fight no matter how dark days look. We usually find a way when we are alone together. Once again, I've sworn there. If others around to fight us, only on us until death. I don't know why I said that. That was a bit too dramatic. That was like it's us or nothing kind of thing. Too obsessive. I don't think any healthy relationship should be that obsessive, you know. It's either us or death. Or like we fight no matter how dark days look. I don't agree with that either. If it's too dark, then you can be free to leave, you know. Don't be sticking around. I mainly say that probably because these days many people they give up easily without much of a dark days, you know. Things are kind of dark and, you know, people one side or the other leaves too easily nowadays. No expectations. The 15th one is no expectation. I can't speak. The 15th one is no expectations to always be satisfying each other. 100%. No expectations to always be satisfying each other. Yep. Shouldn't be always trying to satisfy. Because then you're forcing it. You're just trying to show something. You're trying to give something that doesn't exist. You know, and it's vile. It's not like it's not real. So it's really meaningless. To a toxic person, it might be meaningful, but to someone who's not, it will be meaningless. To force yourself to be satisfying each other. And have expectations. Expectations is an issue. Otherwise, you're going to be constantly unhappy. Please add if you have more for us. That's what I wrote as well. Offending each other, then not letting chance to heal. Yeah, you have to give time. If you say something bad to your girl or she says something bad to you, maybe give it a bit of time. Chill. Do your own thing and then or do something really chill with her, like, I don't know, you know, making a smoothie or whatever, and just let it settle down, and then you can decide what to do after. That's about it. I think this is really insightful. More so than if you were to watch a YouTube video and see someone else's opinion about their own relationship, for example. It's good to have different opinions, but it's really good to also see your own opinion in depth and your own experiences in depth. Instead of trying to say, I'm trying to imagine, I'm trying to remember what happened to my own past experiences. You won't be able to remember 2, 3 years, 5 years. You forget, you know, you forget what even happened. That's why so many, I think, people even that were in a really bad relationship, they, you know, 5 years later, 3 years later, whatever, they try to go back to their ex, you know, and they have this fantasy in their head that, you know, my ex was actually so good, things could have worked, even though in the moment you were like sure it definitely couldn't, you know. But you don't quite remember that. Your brain kind of goes to the positive stuff, or maybe too much to the negative. So that's why to be realistic of your past and, you know, to have evidence, it's pretty good. That's about it.